All right. We hear y'all, man. It's S Spiritual Crazy Funny Reactions. And I got another one for y'all, you know what I'm saying? The Satanic Truth of Easter by Rashad Jamal. He's breaking that down for you. So thank y'all for coming in, joining in, and dealing with me and my frequency. You feel me? Appreciate it. You know, so S Spiritual Crazy Funny Reactions. Free Rashad Jamal. And peace, meaning positive energy always create elevation. I am that I am. I am everything and everything is me. But I am not the body. I am the soul. You know what I'm saying? I say to all the ones out here. I say. But all right. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
You believe that belief is believable, but the only thing you should believe in is yourself. SS. The Kundalini energy continues to rise on the planet. The veils of deception will erode.
Peace to the gods and goddesses of planet God. Peace, meaning positive energy, always creates elevation. Peace to the high vibrational human beings within the university. And peace to the ancestors for work to do. We back to the say and deal with the gods and goddesses and the high vibrational human beings and those on the spiritual journey within the university. I appreciate you. We're gonna get right into it though. I have a quick disclaimer first. If you don't like hearing the security lady say you have 1 minute left. Exit the motherfucking university now. Thank you, respectfully. That's my only disclaimer. Sometimes we get on here and make it longer the intro. Sometimes I like to get right to it. Definitely, information is for everybody. The University of Cosmic Intelligence is a spiritual and philosophical institution that exists to you, the listener. It has no physical venue. All right, so with that being said, we don't discriminate. We don't support racism, sexism, capitalism, any ism. So I don't care if you black, white, green, pink, tall, short, skinny, fat, gay, straight, rich, poor, Catholic, Muslim, Jehovah's Witness, Judy, if you're into Judy.
Basically, what he's saying, he don't care. But we don't care who you are. You can be whatever you want to be. Up in here, up in this classroom right here. You feel me? You can be whatever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? We ain't against none of that. You know what I'm saying? What your preference is, whatever you want to be a preference of, that's you, man. We can't change that. It is what it is. Let's get back to it. Appreciate y'all once again.
Ism, Scientology, atheist, GD, BD, Bud, Crip. I don't care what you is. The message is for everybody, those who are on that spiritual journey will listen. To the smoothies who comment negative things in the comments, spread negative lies and the slander, we don't really get into that type of stuff because they even talked about Jesus, right? So anytime you're doing something positive, you will be attacked for righteousness. That's how it goes when you die in Satan's kingdom. So speaking of Satan's kingdom, Zeus, that brings us to today's download actually about Easter, the satanic truth about Easter. I've touched on Easter before in the past, and to be honest with you, I will expound upon Easter again when I come home soon. Live lectures. I'm going to have to do a live lecture on this topic because I want to actually show you all better visions and just show you pictures that my team are able to put up on my behalf. For those of you who are listening to this audio, hopefully it's clear enough. If it's not, bear with me. Put the captions on, do whatever you got to do. I definitely want to take you down a rabbit hole for a quick second. So before we roll into it, it's imperative that we open this up with the right spiritual energy. So first, let me start by sending deep insight to all the elders within the university, those 65 and older. Thank you. I love you deeply. I respect you. I appreciate you. If nobody else does, for everything you have done while in this incarnation. Even if you think you haven't done anything, just your presence still plays a role in the grand scheme of the cosmos. So thank you, respectfully. I love you. To all my elders. To those in the university, my peers, those in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I appreciate you and I love you deeply. I'm sending you the deepest insight because I want you to be able to not just hear me say it, but when it's so many fake messiahs and false prophets out there right now because, Zeus is at work. So he know the planet is rising and we waking up, and now that you have individuals just like myself and others, the real chosen ones who have your attention and are leading you in the right way. You have a lot of people that's out there trying to mislead you and misguide you, and that's only to be expected. There are many Christ.
And we ain't misleading over here, misguiding, none of that. You can believe what you want to believe, man. You can believe that I'm misleading or whatever. All you got to do is look into the history and look it up, like he say. You know what I'm saying? Go look it up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You'll see everything he's saying and what I'm saying is legit. But for YouTube, I don't know what's going on. I don't know Shah Jamal. I don't know. Oh, this is fake. Everything on here is fake. Everything I'm telling you, everything they talking about, everything is fake. YouTube guidelines. Anyway, let's get to it, y'all.
Many people that enter and attain that will attain the Christ conscious state, and there are many antichrist. Those who have attained and seek to stay in the subconscious state. Antichrist literally means the opposite of the Christ conscious state. You also got a lot of motherfuckers out there talking about, oh, the Christ conscious state, they just don't work around. But if you know how to phase through no walls, if you don't know how to fly, if you don't know how to teleport, if you got to figure out how to control the elements at will, walk on water, phase through water, bend metal with your mind, biolocate, you have not attained. Sit in meditation for 10 plus hours straight, you have not attained the Christ conscious state. A lot of people just get caught in posting content, and they get you little reels, and you get your little content. The content creation is cool, but what happens is it's short. So you get your little quick reel, a person might like your comment, ooh, and then they go on to the next, reel. And there's so much information being fed out there. Are you digesting this information, sitting with it, and applying it to your everyday life? A lot of individuals are not. Right, so you kind of fall into the trap that's doing so much too. Self-reflection is key. Meditation is key. I always taught y'all those deep in. These are ancient teachings that we've been teaching on the planet forever. Right? So I'm only bringing the ancient teachings back to you. But I don't want to hold you up any longer. I want to get right to this download about Easter. All right. So as you know, let's a quick synopsis. Let's just reflect on what they taught us Easter was. Right? So we know as kids, at least I grew up the way we was taught. My grandmother, and then I grew up in a Christian household, Baptist church. Right? My auntie was a Sunday school teacher, right? 30, 40 plus years. My grandma then taught everybody in the projects and hood, right? As a kindergarten teacher, right? So church was enforced in my home, in my household, coming up like it was in most black households in America with 3Ks, right? So when I go to home with mom, Islam was enforced, right? We was going to the mosque, go sit in, listen to the spiritual guys from Farrakhan, right? But when I go to my grandma's house, we went to church and we listening to Reverend Meeks and Pastor Reverend Alexander, Union Baptist and stuff like that. So Easter was always fun for us as a kid because for me it was just about getting some Easter baskets. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, I just wanted to motherfucking Easter basket. I ain't care about the true meaning behind it. All I knew was when Easter came, I'm gonna get a basket full of candy. You know what I'm saying? And as a kid, that's how they reel the kids in, first and foremost, because we love candy. They program us to love the sweet shit, so we love the sweet shit. So it's all about the Easter basket as a kid. But as I matured to adolescent, and you started to have to pay more attention in Sunday school, and when you're in church, you got to pay more attention, and now they forcing this false rhetoric upon your spirit and your soul, right? So it was taught that, hey, Easter was the day that Jesus Christ of Nazareth died. Well, not died, but he was allegedly killed. He was killed. He died. This is what they teach us, that he died, and then he was dead for 3 days, and then after 3 days, the nigga rose again. And when he rose again, this is why we celebrate Easter, because it represents the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is the initial reason that we was taught to celebrate Easter. Right, so, and a lot of us fell for that, right? A lot of us thought that.
We all fell for it. That's what's crazy. Because we all fell for it. Not just some of us, we all fell for it. You know what I'm saying? He can feel for it. I feel for it. And I know you feel for it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, pay attention, y'all. Pay attention.
A lot of us still think that. Well, not the real us, because we know us when we see us, right? When I say us, the real about a true Anunnaki gods that are on the side of righteousness. You got to understand something. When this cosmic war broke out, we came down to this planet, and a lot of us got trapped on this planet, right? Because Zeus created what's known as like lockdown, or the frequency barrier around the planet. So he stopped a lot of us from getting in here through the portals, and those that were here got stuck and trapped here. So now the only way to exit was to what they call death, even though death is not real. The only way to exit now is through the way when you transcend the realm, or if you are able to raise your vibratory rate within yourself to actually open portals around you, which you can do. See what I'm saying? So all you people that say, oh, you attained the Christ conscious state, well, you should be opening portals in your rooms and walking through the motherfuckers, right? But I'm pretty sure you probably not. All right, so these are things that was put before us, right? And you know, the Satan, Zeus, aka Satan, it took over this planet, right? It took over this planet. So everything is going to always start with that initial spiritual world, because that's why everything is like it is. That's the reason why we're talking frequency, and that's what's going on this planet right now. Alright? So, because of that right there, right, this is the true reason why we don't remember the esoteric truth, right? The ancient truth, right? And you got to understand something. These individuals that we have been faced to go against, they all work for Zeus. They all work for Satan, right? So when Zeus created this frequency barrier around planet Kai, right? This is not Earth, right? This is planet Kai, right? Not Earth. But I'm hearing a lot of people that they're still using the word Earth.
Planet Kai, Planet Tiamat. I don't know why people say Earth still, but that's because they know. Well, you know, they not, you know, whatever you want to call it. Tiamat or Planet Kai. Let's go.
You got to get back to using ancient terminologies, because you use the terminologies they gave us when they took over the realm. And as long as you continue to use their terminology, you are still living in their matrix. When you unplug from their matrix, you no longer use their terminologies, right? Their titles, because the light codes are in the titles. It has an effect on your conscious. It has an effect on your spirit, your soul, your mind, right? Even your cells. It affects you. Just a title affects us down to the molecular level, right? That's why it's imperative that you don't call yourself an African American or Latin American. You recognize yourself as an Anunnaki god. And to show you Zeus' soul, he working overtime, because when I left, a lot of people wasn't even aware of Anunnaki gods. And then I started bringing that out. Now you had elders that spoke about this, the Moors have spoken about this for years. You had Yahweh Big Yahweh, Dr. Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemming, Dr. Yor, Marcus Garvey, Dr. Ducey, the Swamis in India. You had a lot of people that was aware of this, right? Right? But it was a huge drop off in speaking about that subject. That was my purpose for coming back to this time. So when I brought the subject back, it's my job to go deeper into who the Anunnaki really are. And I was starting to help a lot of y'all awaken to this term Anunnaki God, which is why they call us the gods. Right? But in my absence, because you gotta understand, I talk to my wife, I talk to people in here, I listen. They have put out so much misinformation attacking the Anunnaki to the point where they got people thinking the Anunnaki are bad aliens and stuff like that, and that's not true. All right, and it doesn't shock me, because they don't want you to know who you is. So the closer you get to know who you are, now they go back who you are, sound evil. This is shit they've been doing since the beginning of time. Right? Remember, these are the same people, these are the same beings who made you believe that black was bad.
Woo! Man, he's spitting that ether. I promise you, he's spitting ether, man. Man, alright. Let's go.
White is good, right? Because if you go look in a dictionary to this day, it The prophet Malcolm X pointed that out years ago. The prophet Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam pointed that out years ago. All right, these are ancient truths. This is a fact. All right, so I'm sharing it to say that Zeus set up this prison for your soul and your spirit. All right, and closed off all the portals so that those that come here are stuck here. Right, and prison for your soul and your spirit. That Zeus set up this prison for your soul and your spirit. Alright? And closed off all the portals so that those that come here are stuck here. Right? So a lot of people stuck here. And then we start bringing more souls down to the realm through the birth canal to try to help free the planet. And then they got stuck here. And the more and more of us we sent down here, they continue to get stuck here and forced into reincarnation. Right? Remember, they used the moon as a soul harvesting. It's really a soul harvesting weapon to harvest the soul, right? To force you into a state of reincarnation. Right? So,
looking to make 2025 the year that you create your best tracks. With Splice, I'm starting the year.
this is what they've been doing to us, right? So now, the main thing that they have done was to get us to pray to their fallen angels. A lot of them praying and the top of days we celebrate, we really been celebrating Satan. We really been celebrating Zeus, right? I'm just channeling right now. I'm just channeling like I always do. And speak through me. So we've always celebrated this Zeus. We've always celebrated Satan. We've always celebrated his kingdom unbeknownst to us. That's what all the holidays are about. So it should shock you that they did this with Easter, right? And to really understand how satanic Easter is, you have to break down the symbology. So we want to start with the term Easter. Let's look at the original story. This is originally, let them tell that this is supposed to be the day that Christ rose. That's what we celebrate. But when you dive deeper into that, you got to ask yourself, well, why the fuck is the day always changing? Because the day on Easter changes. So the first thing catching mind is, okay, if this is the day Christ rose, so that because Easter day changes every motherfucking year. So if Christ died and was dead 3 days, and then he rose on April 9th, and we celebrated Easter on April 9th in the year 2010, why the fuck did we celebrate Easter on April 20th in 2025? And then in 2026, it's going to be a different day. Literally, the date changes every motherfucking year. Right?
Right.
Why is that? Well, the reason is because, let's look at who Easter is. Easter is actually a fallen goddess. Not to be confused with Ishtar, because a lot of people are getting used to the word Ishtar, I-S-H-T-A-R. And there's so much false misinformation being placed out there amongst our people by Zeus. He's a trickster now. He's a trickster. Remember, he's the fallen god that deceives the whole world than they did. His biggest weapon is shrapnology, the art of deception, which is the art of war. Right? He's the creator of that now. Right? He's very intelligent, very witty. He know you better than you know yourself because he was there with you in the beginning, most of you. Right? Zeus, Satan. Right? He has many names. Right? But if you go look at the text where they start talking about the Anunnaki, they try to say that Ishtar is one of the Anunnaki, even Enki and Lil, which is true technically because Zeus, aka Satan, is also an Anunnaki god. He's a fallen Anunnaki god. Easter is an Anunnaki goddess. She's a fallen Anunnaki goddess. Enki and Enlil is another name for Zeus, Satan. Enki and Enlil is the same individual, but they split the person up into two different people in the Sumerian text, right? And then they mention Enki and Enlil as being a part of the Anunnaki gods, but they're really talking about Zeus, which is his cosmic name. Now, he changed his name to Satan, Prometheus, Santa, Jupiter, Enki, Enlil, Marduk. Right? He got a lot of names. Right? Satan, but his real name is Zeus. Right? Alright, so Easter is a fallen goddess, which you must know first. She's not on the good side, she's on the bad side. Okay? Now, when you talk about Ishtar is also a fallen goddess. Now, if you Google it, they're going to try to make it seem like Ishtar is another name for Easter, but it's not. Easter and Ishtar are two different female goddesses. Right? And I ask you, don't believe me, meditate on it. And ask the ancestors who were.
Don't believe him. Don't believe me. Meditate on it. Ask your ancestors, like I'm telling you. Meditate on it. Pay attention. Pay attention, y'all.
Really, it's this damn one I'm giving you correct. But Easter and Ishtar are two separate fallen goddesses that left with Zeus when he fell in frequency, when he was kicked out of the heavens and the cosmos and the war that broke out in heaven. Okay? Now, Ishtar presided over for the fertility goddess, right? So that deals with sex. Okay? When you looking at the symbolism of Easter, you're gonna notice eggs, you're gonna notice the rabbit. Now, I've said this years ago. Well, you have to ask yourself, what the fuck does a rabbit have to do with eggs? Because rabbits don't lay eggs, right? And we never asked ourselves, like, wait, hold on, why they showing us a rabbit and eggs? Because rabbits don't lay eggs. Well, rabbits fuck. That's what rabbits do. You never heard her, oh, they fucking like rabbits. That's what they do. All they do is fuck. Rabbits. Right? All they would eat is fuck. That's what they do. Now, the egg, we know rabbits don't lay no damn eggs, so what does the egg represent? Now, if you look up Easter, do your own research, they're going to tell you on Google that the egg represents the empty casket of Jesus Christ. Because remember, they're telling you that Easter is about Jesus Christ. This is the day Christ rose. And then when he rose, remember, Christ left out the tomb. And then when they came back, Christ was gone. So the tomb was empty. Well, that's what the egg is supposed to represent in Easter, the empty tomb of Jesus Christ. This is what they taught us in organized religion. This is what they'll tell you on a common Google search. But remember now, Google, we know who's behind Google. The archons, the entities, Zeus and his fallen kingdom, right? So, in reality, the egg represents the womb, the empty womb, the lifeless womb of these fallen beings, because the fallen gods, the fallen angels that were kicked out of the heavens, they are lifeless because they lack divine love, right? They have been disconnected from home. So the egg represents the empty womb, and it represents the female womb, because the egg is what brings life into the cosmos, the womb, right? We enter through the womb. Physically, you enter through the womb of your mom, but cosmically, you enter through the womb of the infinite mother, right? Which is about the infinite creator, right? Because remember, in organized religion, they make us think that God is a man, but God is both. But God is androgynous, both masculine and feminine. This is why you have masculine and feminine energy.
Yes.
God is both female and he, and male, both God and goddess, right? Androgynous. So that's what the egg represents now.
Man, y'all hear what he's spitting? Oh, man. I know that's the truth. God is both. Because it's masculine energy and it's feminine energy and masculine energy. So it's both. Y'all pay attention. Y'all pay attention. I'm telling you.
The rabbits are known for fuck. The egg still represents a form of sex, and then it's called Easter, which was the god of fertility. Right? Now, the whole holiday is geared around destroying your sacral chakra. Right? This is why Playboy used what? The Playboy bunny to represent them. Right? So the celebration of Easter is all about the celebration of the sex rituals. And when they celebrated Easter, they would do sex magic. Right? Now, remember I told you that the dates on Easter change. The dates change. But why? Well, the reason the dates change on Easter is because, now this is the absolute truth. Easter is always going to fall between March 22nd and April 25th. Why? Because that's when the spring equinox enters. This is when everything on the planet is being reborn. The entire planet is going through a rebirth. right? That's what spring is. Everything is springing back because it just came out of winter. Remember, for 3 months, everything dies. And then in spring, everything comes back to life. Doesn't that sound familiar, that Jesus Christ story? He died, he was there for 3 days, right? He was there for 3 days, right? Killed by the Roman Catholic Church. And then he's supposed to rose on day 3. Well, that's symbolic to the sun, because the sun is pretty much dead for 3 months, right? December, January, February, and then that's when it's winter time. Winter kills the planet. And then spring equinox, everything comes back to life, right? And Easter, the reason the date changed is because Easter is celebrated after the first full moon, the first Sunday after the first full moon of the spring equinox. So spring is going to always be March 21st. And then whatever first full moon come after March 21st, that very following Sunday will always, that's when they celebrate Easter. This is why Easter can literally fall between March 22nd and April 25th. And if you check the calendars, you'll see Easter then fell on from literally some days, some years it be March 25th. One year might be April 2nd. It's all based around whenever the full moon comes, the first full moon after March 21st, once they go into the sky, that very next Sunday, that's when they celebrate Easter. So, actually, in actuality, they are not celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ, he is not real. The guy that the story was named after, his name was Yahshua, or Yahshua as he's called sometimes. And that's a whole other lecture. But the Jesus Christ that we think of, we see that's not real. But the story is real. The story belonged to Yahshua, and they told his story and gave him pain and put a white face on him and changed his image, just completely twisted up the true meaning of who he was and when he came and what he did. Right? So really, Easter is all about celebrating this full moon. Right? Once that full moon comes, Easter is celebrated the next Sunday. Why? Because it's the first full moon. Now, if you know what I talked about the moon, right? The moon is a holographic image of the 2 moons located back on Nern. Nern is the home planet of the human beings, and Nern is also the home planet of what Zeus and the fallen angels and fallen gods went to when they were cast out the cosmos in the heavens. This is their first home, where they created their labs, where they created their human being base, where they created their evil incidentals and put their plan together to attack the righteous gods who was right here on planet God.
Message. That's all I'm saying.
Right? When they chose to attack us, they did that. They launched that entire attack from planet Nern, located in the 6th universe. So if you know about the full moon is what? The full moon releases all this anti-photon energy onto the planet. Low vibrational energy, right? So the tides rise and everything is acting crazy. And that energy is so intense, it attacks the pelvic area, and it attacks the vagina, right? It attacks the uterus of the goddesses, I mean. This is why they had their periods, right? Keep in mind, the full moon, when it's the brightest, this is when they are able to lure the most souls into, remember, because on the other side of the moon is the dark side of the moon is an actual scientific lab. And
You have 1 minute left.
Where they have these EMS containers, which they are using to harvest souls. I told y'all this way back 2021, right? On top of that, the entire using Easter, you're summoning Easter, the fallen goddess, over fertility, which is sex, and you're summoning Ishtar. She also deals with sex, right? Right? And you're summoning Yoster, which is spelled E-S-T-O-R-E. I might be misspelling it wrong. Don't quote me on that. But it's like E-S-O-T-R-E, I believe. But it's pronounced Yoster. Or Yoster. But it's a Germanic word. Which is another name which is where Ishtar gets its root from. Right? So, I want that to sit on y'all soul for a second now. Yoster is the original name of Ishtar. Right? It's the etymological name of Ishtar. Yoster.
Thank you for using.
Yeah, we back. So Ishtar is the etymology of Ishtar is going to shift back to Yoster, which is pronounced which is spelled E-S-T-O-R-E, I believe. Right? But I'm gonna have my team pull it up. If I miss it by accident, work with me because spelling is witchcraft, so I'm not really good at spelling, but I understand what the fuck I'm saying though. Right? Giving you shit straight from the soul. Give a fuck about no spelling because we know this spelling is witchcraft. That's why they taught us how to spell, right? But Yoster, which is another name for Ishtar, right? That all deals with fallen goddesses that deal with fertility. Right? They'll call them fertility goddesses, but these goddesses really specialize in lust. Right? And when they fell in frequency, it became lust. Right? When they were kicked out of the cosmos in the heavens, it became lust. Before that, it was just divine love, stuff like that. Relationships and harmony. But when they got kicked out of the heavens and the cosmos, it became lust. So Ishtar and Easter, they attacked through lust. So this is why they use these two fallen goddesses in Easter, the celebration of Easter. Now, when you combine that with the fact that Easter can't be celebrated till the full moon rises after the spring equinox, then you can see what's going on clearly here. Alright? So look, you're not celebrating the resurrection of Christ. Right? You're participating in a sex ritual. Because what happens is, once that full moon going to the sky, and now it's a midnight of negative energy onto the planet, they harvest that energy and turn it into a sex ritual in which they do these sex rituals on Easter Sunday. Right? And they do it on that day. So while most people was at church and, buying their baskets and celebrating it, you're casting out energy because your intent is to celebrate it. That energy goes into the airwaves. It travels along the airwaves, and now they can take that energy and harness the frequency of it, and now they in underground, under these churches, on these powerful energetic points on the planet, and they're using that energy, and they're participating in all type of sex magic rituals, right, to make sure that their intent comes to fruition. To make sure that their intent comes to fruition. This is what they're doing with the energy. Right. Now, if you go deeper into Ishtar or Yoster, she was called in Germany before they used Ishtar, you'll notice that most pictures of Ishtar, which is Yoster, Escore, they're going to always show her surrounded by the Cupids and the Puto. Puto spelled P-U-T-T-O, or putty sometimes, Pooty. P-U-T-T-I, they are called when it's more than one. If it's one, it's a Puto, P-U-T-T-O. But if it's more than one, it's a Pooty, they're called Pooty, P-U-T-T-I. Right? You're going to see Ishtar in every picture of her that you pull up, and I have to take over a picture, she's going to be surrounded by the Pooty and the Cupids. Now, some of y'all are familiar with Cupid, right? But you thinking it's one Cupid, like it's just one. No, the Cupids are actually a group of fallen angels, just like the Pooty. Alright, so the Pooty and the Cupid look the exact same. The Pooty and the Cupid are these little, which is hard to different from those. They look like little young male boys, and they'll always be naked with wings. Any picture you see of them, or any sculpture you see, you're going to see a naked boy, maybe between 5 and 9 years old, a young boy, with wings, asshole naked. They're going to draw his body. They're going to even draw his private area, right? His penis, the private area. That's going to all be in detail. Now, why are they showing you that? Because the Cupids are fallen angels, and the Puto or Pooty are fallen angels that are under. They are basically incubus spirits, right? You got succubus and incubus. Now, the succubus spirits, they attack the males, right? These are actually fallen angels, right? They attack the males. They're not even spirits, they're angels, they're fallen angels, right? They're a type of angel. You got multiple different types of angels, right? But they'll try to say the TE and the Cupids are cherubim, but they're not. The cherubim are a completely different type of angel, right? You got 9 different types of angels. But the Pooty and the Cupids, the reason you're going to see them because they are actually incubus and succubus. And you want to see succubus because none of the Pooty and Cupids are feminine. They're all mad. They'll always be masculine, little boys. Aphrodite, Venus. A lot of people think Venus is Aphrodite, but they're not. Aphrodite, Venus are fallen goddesses. Ishtar, Easter, these are 4 different fallen goddesses. Okay? The 4 different fallen goddesses. Alright? But when you think of the planet Venus, they're going to always say it deals with what? Love. Love deals with what? Sex. Yeah, you could say love don't deal with sex when it comes to you loving your mom or your brother, but when you think of love overall, it's going to include sex because it's when the male unites with the female and they form a union, right? Think about how Cupid is. Cupid does what? He shoots the arrow, but he flies around and shoots arrows at people. And when they hit them with the arrow, they fall in love, right? And when Cupid in Greek mythology was flying through the air and hit people with arrows, they fall in love with him. And what's going to happen when they fall in love with him? What comes after that? First comes, like remember the old school song, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes with the baby carriage, right? So we know how this goes, right? We know how business goes down in the family. Alright, so Cupid, the Cupids, there's more than one, a lot of them. They're actually they're actually symbolic, rather, of the incubus spirits. Incubus angels, which are the masculine angels, or the male fallen angels that feed off the sex organs. It's your sacral chakra, your vagina, and the penis area. And then the succubus angels are the feminine fallen angels who feed off the private areas. So most succubus angels attack gods like myself, two beautiful goddesses. And most incubus angels are going to attack the goddesses like yourself, or queens like yourself, two handsome gods like myself or other handsome gods, right? It's for lust. But you will always see Ishtar in these paintings surrounded by the Puli or the Cupids. And this is why. These are incubus spirits, incubus angels. Right? We know incubus and succubus are negative entities. And if you look at Aphrodite, they're going to tell you that she was always with the Cupids and the Puli. Right? Venus as well. Right? And if we know that Ishtar is surrounding herself with the Cupids and Puli, and they flying around these wings, and the wings represent them being fallen angels. These little boys represent the promotion of homosexuality because, the Roman Catholic Church has a thing for little boys. The human beings are the creator of the homosexuality, right? And not just homosexuality, right? Because most of these sculpts were males drawing these pictures, they're infatuated with the male body parts, other males. They literally, Zeus now, he literally wrote out the divine feminine energy, he completely erased it of the creation story. And said that, he reversed it and said that the whole creation started with the male, and it did. Then he said the whole world is fucked up because of the goddesses, feminine energy, right? Divine feminine energy. So, it shouldn't shock you that how we got to homosexuality. And why these little boys got to always be naked. They're not grown. Man, they're little boys. Go look up Cupids in the booty. You probably never thought about them, but yes, they are. Ask them, why are they showing pictures of naked little wolf wings? Then in the pictures they show you, they are posing. The same way, and they're doing sexual poses. The same way a female will get on a strip pole and toot her little booty up and twist her neck and be looking back at it like she's throwing back. Go look up pictures of the Cupids in the pool. That's how they be. They are always in sexual poses. Why get out pictures of naked little boys showing their private areas with the booties tilted out and looking back at it like they girls? You see what's going on the whole time in front of your face. Right? On top of that, they love children. Right? They've always been feeding off the energy of the children. Right? And they already in cahoots with the draconian reptilians and Pleiadians who actually feed off the blood of the adrenochrome of the children. So this is why they depict these incubus angels and incubus spirits as little boys, but they don't have to show them as little boys. They can show them as pure energy, but if you know anything about an angel can materialize to you in any form. An angel can materialize as a human being, which is a white person, a Chinese, Japanese person, Mexican, Dravidian, Arab, or an angel can materialize to you as a But guess what? A fallen angel can do the same thing. See? So some people are literally fallen angels in the flesh, meaning you see that flesh, but behind that flesh is a pure fallen angel. Or a pure fallen God. Right? So this is what you're dealing with when we talk about the Pudi and the Cupid. And this is why Aphrodite is always surrounded by the pictures, because she's a fallen goddess. Right? So attacks the sex organs, attacks the sacral chakra. And if you know anything about your chakra, the most powerful chakra is the sacral chakra, because through that chakra is where you bring health to bring in life. Right? Through that chakra, you normally fall in love with your wife or your husband, which you are supposed to link with so you can keep procreation going. Through the sacral chakra, you eventually access that person's heart chakra, which is the center of divine love and love. Now with me?
Yeah.
But it's in reverse for these fallen. Right? Zeus and his kings of the fallen gods, the fallen angels, they attack you. So how do they attack it? They attack it through pornography. They attack it through the degradation of our bodies. They attack it through making us lust over each other. And when we lust, now when we release this seed, we know about seed retention. What are we doing? We're draining ourselves of life force. Right? We're supposed to use that life force to put into the womb to bring in life. But you got the Easter egg, and that Easter egg is empty. Right? But if you got too much lust in you, you don't have enough life force to fill up that Easter egg with your life force, which is actually representative and symbolic of the womb of the goddess. Right? As a result, that womb shall remain empty. Right? Your semen, our semen actually connects us to the cosmos. It's just like a bee. When bees sting you, it's over with. Because the spine is connected to the stinger, so it snatches the whole spine. When you release the life force into the womb, or you release it from masturbation, don't you feel there? You get tired, you get weak. Right? And they do all this all right after that full moon has been casted into the sky. This is why Easter isn't celebrated until after the first full moon of the spring equinox. So while, remember, the planet's being going through rebirth. So while the planet's going through rebirth, here they go dirty enough, the frequency of the planet, by the way, the first full moon comes, because they put the full moon in the sky. Let's not forget the purpose of the moon. Right? So here they go casting that energy right away. And after they cast the energy, here they go harnessing with these sex rhythms to tingle. Meanwhile, we eat eggs and we eat candy and we burn the chocolate bunny rabbits and we singing our songs and hymns in church, something about Jesus. And remember, Jesus is another name for Zeus. So they got to praise the Easter fallen goddess. You got to praise the Zeus because you got to in the name of Jesus on this day, believing that he resurrected this day. You got to eat candy with his bad for us. On top of that, we're worshiping the symbol of the bunny rabbit and eggs, which all this has to do with fertility and sex. We're worshiping Ishtar, we're worshiping the Pudi and the Cupids, which are actually incubus spirits, incubus angels. We're worshiping homosexuality. Right? I'm not judging you into homosexuality, but a lot of people that are into it now are into it because this has been a part of life that you grew up with it. But we talk about when it was first cast upon us, it was forced. They will butt break the guns by raping us in front of our moms and our wives, our daughters, our children, right? They will run trains on us. They will run trains. They mean slave masters. They run trains on us, and they will run trains on our goddesses and our wives too. Because we don't even know this is what we're giving out the energy to, right?
Pay attention. That's all I like to say, man.
So this is what's really going on behind us, the celebration of Easter. Just saying the name Easter affects you on a molecular level. Remember I talked about how they affect your cells, how they affect your genetic makeup. Talking about happy Easter, right? Right? Talking about the day Jesus rose. And the people that tell you to celebrate the day he rose are the same people that, well, death isn't real, but tried to kill him when he was alive. The Roman Catholic Church. These are the same people that got me locked up right now. I'm going through the same thing Jesus went through. It's just back then they didn't say he was a child molester. They didn't use that to lock him up. They used the fact that he talked to lock him up with me.
Free Rashad Jamal, man. Y'all free that man.
that, the fact that peace locked me up on top of giving y'all a reason to not like me. Or to feel like you should listen to the message to make me question my motive, question where I stand, question my intent.
Free to God.
While they doing that, they're going to force feed you the puppets, the people they handpicked and created, to try to replace what I bring to the plan. But it's irreplaceable though. Some people will fall for it, but real spirituals that turn out open can clearly see what's going on. You can see real from the faith. We know us when we see us. You feel me? So this is why the date always changes with the celebration of Easter. It has nothing to do with Christ rising. It has everything to do with the planet going through rebirth. It has everything to do with them celebrating their moon. The same moon that they're using to harvest our souls as we transcend the realm. They don't just want you in this physical work life, they want you when you're leaving. So they can bring your ass back here so they can keep living and feeding off of our frequency. Because remember now, the fallen gods, the fallen angels, they got kicked out the heavens in the cosmos. They can't get that cosmic energy anymore. They can't get it. So where do you think they get it from? Us. And this is the true reason why they celebrate Easter. Right? This is the true reason why they celebrate Easter. Not to mention that Mars, but the date they call it Mars 21st, 22nd, that's a powerful moment when the sun, which gives us all our life force, all our food, all our cosmic vibratory energies in a certain position. Which is in a certain position that helps to keep the frequency at a certain state on the planet. So this is why they also attack it like that. They make sure to cast the full moon not too far behind that. So we really shouldn't be celebrating it. It's a ritual. We donate our energy to the ritual. We should be casting our own rituals to find out their rituals on that day. But I don't want to hold it out too long. I'm going to say this for a deeper when I come home and I can sit in front of the camera and give you a better visual, right? And actually talk to you more about it without feeling rushed. I'll be feeling rushed on these calls. They're only 20, 25 minutes of the call. But with that being said, spread this message on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you got a Twitch channel on Twitch, X, spread it far and wide. Let's keep the frequency rising, continue to spread the message, continue to meditate, continue to go within, right? Do not be distracted, do not be confused, do not be misled. Be who you were sent here to be, which is a divine being, a non-ether being, an Anunnaki god, an Anunnaki goddess, a direct descendant of greatness, a reflection of the Most High, the source. You are source in the physical. There is no power outside of yourself. All the power is within you. And until you understand that, and you will be forced to reincarnate here as well. A lack of knowledge of self will bring you back here as well. Not just that moonlight. But with that being said, I love y'all deeply. Peace to the time of the planet crime. Be sure to go on the website, www.uci.online. Subscribe. There's more lectures and audio lectures and videos on there. For all the new subscribers, be sure to check out our shop, shop.uci.store. It's my personal shop with UCI merch, my clothing line, Taji, our holistic and herbalistic healing company that me and my wife created, We the Heart. Check out Mataji, our official clothing line. We not going to be wearing that shit no more. Alright? Support us. We support you. Continue to work on yourself. Continue to chase after your purpose, to walk in your purpose. Not chase, but rather walk in your purpose. Let nothing stop that. Take full responsibility for everything that has happened in your life wrong, and take full responsibility for everything that has happened good. Remember, you are the creator and destroyer of your reality. And you never stop to rise. The Kundalini energy will continue to rise. This is not Earth. This is planet God. Peace to the God of the planet God, and peace and divine love for perfect peace. One.
Man. And spiritual crazy funny reactions, you know what I'm saying? Hey, like I said, from the hood to the PC, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring that out from the hood to the PC, you know what I'm saying? It's spiritual crazy, funny reactions. I'm gonna bring some more to you. Holla at me.